boy knocked on the hospital door suddenly. Meanwhile, the doctor was praying, but a polar bear breaks through the window. The boy rolls in too. He holds a purse in his hand, hoping the doctor can help him. The little squirrel he'd hurt by mistake. Tony takes the squirrel out, immediately to his ear. Hearing this, he rushed to give artificial respiration. He saw that the squirrel was still breathing. He immediately prepares for surgery. The animals were thrilled. After all, he had been depressed for a long time. Now he's finally back to himself. The baby squirrel is put on the operating table. Tony is also fully armed. He asks the duck to pass him the forceps. It seems the duck has not yet sobered up. He has to find it himself. After a series of operations, Tony successfully removed the bullet, and the boy was fascinated by the way he operated. He wanted to stay on as an apprentice, but the princess beside him reminded him that the land would soon be reclaimed, because the queen is very ill. When she dies, the Ministry of Finance would take the deeds. It would also become a hunting ground. The boy wasn't the only one who heard this, and this parrot next to him. As soon as the operation was over, he came to Tony immediately. He told him to save the queen, to save his home. Tony came to the two men. He agreed to the girl's request, but drove the boy away, and warned him not to harm the animals again. But as the boy left, he saw the box in the back of the wagon. He immediately had an idea. Tony and the girl walk out of the house. The girl rode in the carriage. She rode on an ostrich. The group made their way to the palace, but before they could enter the palace, the guards grabbed the boy. To save him, the princess lied that the boy was Tony's apprentice. Although Tony was not happy, but he accepted it. Everyone went into the chambers to see the royal doctor, and saw Tony. They immediately came to trouble him. But when the princess said that Tony had been invited by the queen, he had no choice but to give way. He came to the queen. Tony told the dog to climb into bed. He smelled the queen's scent. Then he opened a book. He asked the dog to determine which plant the smell came from, and after searching around, he finally came to the conclusion that the queen had been poisoned, and she would be dead in a week. If he wanted to save her, the fruit of Eden's wisdom must be used today. Time was short. He had to leave immediately. Before he left, he told the princess to cook for the queen herself, so that no one else would poison her. Then he set out with his companions on a journey to find the fruit of wisdom. But just outside the palace, Tony sent the boy home. He didn't want to take the boy home with him. On the road, the boy looked dejected. But in the middle of the night while he slept, a giraffe licked him awake, and a parrot flies to his bedside to tell him to get ready to board the ship. They shake off the guard's chase. They ran until dawn. But when they arrived at the river, they found the boat had already left. The clever boy saw the bridge in the distance, so they raced towards the bridge. At last, before the boat passed by, the giraffe throws the boy off the lift. The fox then helps pull the switch. The lift steps slowly descend. He is finally able to make the journey, but before he can rejoice, the machine stops. It turns out that the knot is stuck in the rope, but that doesn't stop the boy's determination. He tumbles out of the top. As the boat passed by, he took a brave leap, and finally managed to land on the rice bag. The animals cheer his courage.